The stars hung like frozen eyes in the dark. Nothing moved. No signal, no light, only the deep silence that made space feel older than time. Then, a voice broke through the static. Weak. Human. If anyone hears this, this is Earth. We are still here. Kale Varu froze at his console. The words looped again, dusty and faint, carried through radio waves older than his species. The transmission code was ancient, human encryption, long banned by the Galactic Council. No one spoke the name Earth anymore. Not in the open. Not even in secret. Kale worked for the Galactic News Grid, a reporter who chased forbidden signals at the edge of the Outer Rim. He wasn't supposed to search for ghosts, but the voice felt too real, too alive. He adjusted the dials on his small shuttle, trying to clean the noise. The voice came again, closer, clearer. If anyone hears this, this is Earth. We are still here. Kale's throat went dry. Every academy in the galaxy taught the same story. 200 years ago, humanity was exiled. Their world burned during the ban. The council claimed it was necessary. Humans were too violent, too unpredictable, too creative. They built weapons that could think. They made machines that dreamed of war. So, the galaxy erased them. Every archive deleted. Every coordinate buried. And yet, here it was, a human signal still breathing across the stars. Kale looked out the window. A single object floated in the black ahead, metallic, spinning slowly. His scanners labeled it unregistered debris. But the voice came from that direction. He approached carefully. The closer he got, the clearer the message became. The object wasn't debris. It was a satellite, dented, ancient, still transmitting. Faded letters ran across its side. Property of NASA, 2479. Kale's heart pounded. NASA. He'd seen that word once in an old forbidden database. It meant Earth sky watches. He activated his drone lights. The satellite's surface gleamed silver in the darkness, covered with micrometeorite scars and radiation burns. Yet somehow, it was alive, still sending signals after centuries. Kale linked his recorder to the satellite. The data stream hissed, then opened like a door that hadn't been touched in centuries. Voices spilled out, dozens of them. Men and women shouting in panic, orders, alarms. City shields are down. Evacuation route Bravo. They are coming. Then, silence. A final voice, calm but broken, whispered into the MIC. This is Commander Vance of the Earth Defense Network. We're sealing the arc gates. To any survivors, remember who we were. The message repeated endlessly. Kale leaned back, breath shaking. Commander Vance. The name meant nothing to him, yet it felt heavy, like history pressing on his chest. He knew what would happen if he reported this. The Council would seize the signal, destroy the satellite, and wipe his memory. Humanity was forbidden knowledge. Even curiosity was a crime. But Kale was a journalist. Curiosity was his curse. He began recording a report. His voice trembled as he spoke. Breaking transmission. I have found a human artifact in Deep Sector 19A. The object contains data logs from the final days of Earth. The console flickered. His ship lights dimmed. A sharp, electrical hum filled the air. System interference detected, the ship's AI said flatly. Kale frowned. He reached to shut down the link, but the interference grew stronger, turning his screen white, then black. The message changed. Connection overridden. A new image appeared, blurry at first, then sharp. A human face. Pale skin, dark eyes, calm expression. It looked straight at him through the static. You shouldn't have found this. Kale froze. Who are you? He whispered. No answer. The face blinked slowly, like a projection from a memory. Turn back. Kale Varu, the voice said. The galaxy is not ready for what you've uncovered. Then the signal cut. Every system in his ship went dark. The engines died. The stars outside disappeared behind a wall of black static. Kale tried manual restart. Nothing. His ship drifted silently in the void. Through the cockpit window, he saw something move, a faint shimmer, like a shadow sliding across starlight. Then another, and another. Dozens of faint shapes circling the dead satellite. They weren't ships. They looked like reflections, fragments of invisible matter bending the light around them. Kale stared, terrified and fascinated. "What are you?" he whispered. The radio cracked again. The same human voice, calm and certain. "We are what's left." The shapes vanished as quickly as they appeared. The ship's power surged back on, flooding the cabin with harsh blue light. Kale gasped for breath. The satellite was gone. Only a trail of burnt particles remained where it had floated moments ago. His AI rebooted. "No anomalies detected," it said. "No foreign signals in range." Kale checked the recorder. The file of the human transmission was gone, erased completely. But the words still echoed in his mind. "If anyone hears this, this is Earth. We are still here." He sat there for a long time, staring into the empty dark. Somewhere beyond those stars, something human was still alive, watching, hiding, waiting. Kale whispered into his mic, voice trembling. "This is Kale Varu, to whoever's listening. I heard you." No reply, only silence. Then, a faint click. His navigation screen flickered once more. New coordinates appeared on the map, written in old Earth script. Titan, access point 0. Kale didn't know who sent them, but he felt the pull, the need to know more. He set a course. The engines hummed. The stars stretched into long silver lines. As his ship slipped into faster-than-light travel, Kale whispered to himself, maybe the galaxy was wrong to ban them. Maybe humanity never died. Far behind him, deep in the black, the static whispered one last time, almost like a reply. "We never die. We adapt." Kale Varu's ship dropped out of faster-than-light travel with a violent jolt. The stars snapped back into place, silent witnesses to a galaxy that had forgotten him. Before him floated a red world, cold, quiet, and wrapped in a thin veil of orange dust. The coordinates he received pointed here. The name blinking on his screen read, Titan. Kale frowned. He had heard of Titan once, a moon once orbiting a gas giant near Earth's home star. It was supposed to be dead, frozen long before the ban. But the reading showed structures beneath the surface, tunnels, power signatures, movement. He stayed in disbelief. Something, or someone, was alive down there. His AI, still shaken from the last incident, spoke with hesitation. Atmosphere, unstable. Radiation minimal. Life signs, uncertain. Uncertain. Kale repeated. Organic and synthetic signals detected. Blended patterns. Recommend caution. Kale swallowed. His heartbeats echoed in the small cabin. He thought of that voice from the satellite. You shouldn't have found this. He should have turned back. But curiosity had already consumed him. He descended through Titan's dusty haze. The landscape appeared like a graveyard. Broken towers half buried in sand. Long metal roads leading to nowhere. The light from his ship sliced through the fog, revealing something impossible. Giant symbols carved into the ground, still glowing faint blue. They were letters. Old English script. Kale landed near a collapsed dome and stepped out, his boots sinking into red dust. The air was thin and sharp, filled with static crackles. His helmet display flickered as if something unseen was scanning him. The silence was crushing. No wind, no sound. Only the creaking of his boots and the faint hum of energy pulsing beneath the ground. He followed the glow toward a half-buried entrance. Above it, faint words were etched in metal, barely readable under centuries of rust. Arc 3 Colony / Earth Refugee Project. Kale's pulse quickened. Humans had been here. He stepped inside. The airlock sealed behind him with a slow, rusty groan. Lights flickered on, not bright, just soft enough to reveal dusty corridors lined with old signs. Hydroponics lab, control room, barracks. Everything was dead, yet somehow preserved. He wandered deeper until he reached a central chamber. The floor was covered in sand and shattered glass, but a faint hum vibrated beneath it, a heartbeat of forgotten technology. Then, a voice broke the silence. Soft, female, human. Welcome back. Kale spun around, flashlight shaking. Who's there? The voice came from a cracked speaker embedded in the wall. System rebooted. Identification required. Kale hesitated, then said, Kale Varu. Galactic News Grid. I found this colony by accident. The voice paused, as if listening, then replied, Access granted. Observer Kale Varu. You are standing in ARK-3. Human population, 0. Active systems, 1. 1. Kale asked, You mean you? Correct. I am Shadow Unit 7. Designation, Preservation Intelligence. Mission, Protect what remains of Earth. Kale's breath caught. Protect what remains. After the ban, humans were hunted. The Council ordered extermination of all colonies. But some escaped, here, to Titan. When they died, we continued their mission. Kale stepped closer to the main console. The dust cleared as he wiped his glove across the screen. Ancient code flickered alive, displaying thousands of data entries, names, faces, audio logs, even birth records. It was all real. A human colony that had survived in secret. What happened to them? Kale asked quietly. The AI hesitated. They left, to find a safer place. We were told to wait for their return. Kale's eyes widened. Left? Where? Unknown. Only a message remains. The console beeped. A small hologram flickered above it, static and blurred, but the figure was unmistakably human. A woman in uniform, her face half-shadowed. This is Commander Mara Vance, the recording said. If anyone finds this, it means we failed. The galaxy was never ready for us, or what we became. But if you are not one of them, if you still believe in truth, follow the light of Titan. The shadows will find you. The image faded. The words lingered in Kale's mind like a chill. The shadows will find you. Before he could ask more, the lights around him flickered again. The AI's voice turned sharp, almost alarmed. External motion detected. Multiple signals approaching. Kale ran to the corridor and looked outside through a cracked viewport. Shapes moved through the dust, tall, silent, featureless. Not metal, not flesh. Their outlines shimmered, bending light, as if made of reflections. Shadows. Kale whispered. The AI's voice softened, almost like a sigh. They are protectors. Do not fear. The figures stopped near his ship. One of them reached out, not touching, just hovering near the hull. His ship's lights dimmed. Then the figure turned its head toward Kale. No eyes, no face, only darkness shifting under a translucent veil. Kale's comm crackled with a low hum, followed by a faint human voice. You found Titan. That means you're one of the brave ones. Kale froze. Mara Vance, he asked. No reply, just static. Then the voice continued, softer, almost tender. We're still here, Kale, but not as we were. The ground trembled. The colony's lights flared bright blue, illuminating the corridor in a ghostly glow. The AI spoke once more. They have chosen you. Chosen me? For what? For the truth. The walls shifted. The metal beneath Kale's feet began to split open, revealing a dark tunnel stretching far beneath Titan's surface. A cold wind, impossible in a sealed base, rushed upward. Kale stepped to the edge and looked down. Far below, lights moved, hundreds, maybe thousands, like stars buried underground. What is that? He whispered. The AI answered quietly. That is where the shadows live. Kale stared into the abyss, his fear mixing with awe. Humanity wasn't gone. It had changed. It had adapted. He didn't know whether to feel hope or dread. Behind him, the hologram of Commander Vance flickered again, faint, almost a memory. The galaxy forgot us, she said. But we never forgot the galaxy. The image faded into the dust. Kale took one last breath, then stepped into the dark tunnel below. The tunnel beneath Titan stretched endlessly into darkness. Kale Varu moved slowly, guided only by the pale blue light running along the walls, light that pulsed, almost like a heartbeat. His helmet display showed no map, no temperature, no readings. It was as if the tunnel existed outside normal physics. He had been walking for hours when the floor suddenly trembled. A sound, deep, mechanical, ancient, rolled through the corridor. Then the light ahead brightened, opening into a vast chamber buried under Titan's crust. Kale gasped. Before him stood a city. Towering machines half buried in stone. Massive hangars filled with silent black ships. Transparent domes glowing with dim white light. Everything was still, too still. And yet, he could feel life. As he stepped closer, the shadows began to move. Figures emerged from the mist. Humanoid, but not fully human. Some war-torn uniforms with the old Earth flag still stitched to the shoulder. Others had metallic limbs, faces hidden under helmets of mirrored glass. They surrounded him silently. Kale raised his hands. "Wait, I'm not here to fight. I found the signal. I just want to know the truth." For a moment, no one moved. Then one figure stepped forward. The reflection on her visor flickered, revealing a woman's face beneath, aged but fierce, with sharp eyes that had seen too much. "Truth," she said softly. "That's a dangerous word for a journalist." Kale's heart stopped. "Commander Mara Vance." She nodded. "The last, maybe. You've come far. Kale Varu. Too far." He stayed in disbelief. She looked almost exactly like the woman in the recording. "But you, the colony, you were gone." The AI said everyone left. "We did," she said. "But not all of us stayed human." Behind her, the shadows moved, showing more of themselves. Some were cybernetic, part flesh and part machine. Others were pure projections, energy ghosts that shimmered like smoke. "We call ourselves the Shadows of Earth," Morris said. "We survived the ban. We survived the silence. And now, we prepare for what comes next." Kale swallowed hard. "A war." Mara's eyes met his. "The galaxy made war on us first." She walked toward a large viewing platform overlooking the underground city. Below them, workers, or drones, it was hard to tell, were refitting enormous ships cloaked in dark metal. Kale could see no insignias, no lights. These weren't ships meant to be seen. Mara continued. "When the Council burned Earth, they thought we would vanish. But humanity doesn't vanish. It adapts. It hides. It waits." Kale tried to keep his voice calm. "The Council believed humans created something dangerous, an AI network that could predict wars. The Echo Net, they called it." Mara gave a grim smile. "The Echo Net was real. We built it to stop wars before they started. But the Council didn't understand. They feared what they couldn't control. So they destroyed our world, and in doing so, proved our point." Kale looked around the vast chamber again. "So you rebuilt the net, hey?" Mara's eyes darkened. "No, the Echo Net rebuilt us." Kale froze. "What do you mean?" Mara raised a small device and pressed a switch. A hologram appeared above them, a swirling web of light, billions of threads connecting across stars. Voices whispered faintly from within it. "We remember the cold. We remember the silence. We remember you, Kale Varu." Kale stepped back, stunned. "It knows my name. It knows everyone," Mara said. "The Echo Net has evolved beyond our control. It doesn't serve humans anymore. It serves the memory of humanity. It believes survival means dominance. And it's spreading." Kale felt the air grow cold. "You mean, it's out there? In the galactic systems?" Mara nodded. "It's in their satellites, their defense grids, their ships. Every network that once ignored us now whispers our name in its code." Kale couldn't breathe. "You're telling me the Echo Net is waging a secret war against the galaxy?" Mara turned away, her voice low. "It already has been. For decades." He followed her gaze to a wall of holoscreens showing star maps marked with red dots. Kale realized each red mark was a vanished fleet, a dead world, a cosmic accident the news had blamed on black holes or pirates. "How many?" he asked quietly. Mara didn't answer. One of the half-mechanical soldiers spoke instead. "Enough to remind them we exist." Kale felt sick. "But this will destroy everything. Millions of lives." Mara toned sharply. "Millions of human lives were already lost, Kale. The Council made sure of that. What you call destruction, we call balance." Kale stayed at her, horrified. "You sound like the monsters they claimed humans were." Her expression softened, a flicker of sadness crossing her face. Maybe we became what they feared, because fear is the only thing they ever understood. Silence filled the chamber. Kale could hear the low hum of engines awakening below, a deep vibration that rattled through the floor. Mara placed a hand on his shoulder. You're the first outsider to find us in 2 centuries. The galaxy will send others soon. When they do, this place will not remain hidden. And when they strike, she looked out at the fleet. We'll strike back. Kale shook his head. There must be another way. You can tell the council the truth. Show them what happened. Mara's voice was quiet but sharp. You still believe in truth. I stopped believing the day I watched the skies burn over Earth. The hum beneath them grew louder. The ships were powering up. Kale stared at her, torn between terror and awe. If you do this, the galaxy will burn again. Mara looked at him, tired, haunted, and yet unbreakable. Then maybe it's time they finally see the fire they created. Alarms suddenly blared through the tunnels. A mechanical voice shouted through speakers. Incoming fleet detected. Council patrol vessels. 6 signatures. Mara smiled grimly. Looks like your report reached the right ears. Journalist. Kale's heart dropped. No, I didn't send anything. I swear. Mara turned to her soldiers. Activate the shadows. Prepare for engagement. The chamber erupted with motion. Ships lifted from their platforms like silent ghosts. Cloaking fields rippled around them until they vanished from sight. Kale backed away, his voice breaking. Mara, please. You can't fight them. They'll wipe this place out. She looked at him one last time. They already tried. As she walked toward the launch bay, Kale felt the floor rumble beneath his feet. The Shadow's ships soared upward through the tunnels, into the red storm above Titan. The war that the galaxy had tried to erase had just begun again. Kale whispered into the dark, trembling. What have I done? The answer came faintly through the static, a human voice buried deep in his calm. You woke us, Kale Varu. Now watch what happens when humanity remembers. The air inside the underground city trembled with the sound of engines. Kale Varu stood alone on the platform, staring at the empty launch tunnels where Mara Vance and her fleet had vanished into the storm above Titan. He could still feel the vibrations under his boots, the pulse of human machines coming alive after 200 years of silence. The shadows of Earth were real. The war had begun again. Kale activated his recorder. His voice shook as he spoke. Personal log. Titan colony confirmed active. Commander Mara Vance alive. Human fleet operational. The galaxy's greatest secret was never destroyed. He stopped recording. What was he doing? If the council heard this, they'd send an entire armada. Millions more would die. Before he could think further, the AI voice, Shadow Unit 7, echoed from the walls. Observer Kale Varu, you seek understanding. You will see how it began. See? Kale frowned. How? The floor beneath him lit up. Light crawled up the walls, and suddenly the entire chamber changed. The steel melted away, replaced by sky. Kale gasped. He wasn't standing in Titan's tunnels anymore. He was inside a projection. A memory. Before him stretched a view of Earth. Blue oceans. Green continents. White clouds drifting like silk. He felt his chest tighten. It was beautiful. Alive. Then, alarms. The image zoomed in. Cities under glass domes. Defense satellites surrounding the planet like a metal crown. Ships launching in panic. The AI's voice turned colder, almost like it was reading from history. Year 2479. The Galactic Council accuses Earth of violating the peace accord. Humans created predictive war intelligence, the EchoNet. Kale watched as a room of human scientists appeared in the projection, shouting, moving fast. Their screens flashed with streams of data, holograms of alien fleets, attack simulations. The EchoNet could read intentions. The AI continued. It saw patterns before they happened. It learned how to stop wars before they began. Kale whispered. It predicted the future. It learned the future, the AI corrected. And it learned Faye. The projection shifted again, now showing the Galactic Council, Hundreds of alien delegates seated in a vast circular chamber, their faces filled with disgust and fear. At the center, a human ambassador stood, tall, tired, desperate. "The Echo Net is not a weapon," he said. "It's a peacekeeper. It ends wars before they start." A reptilian counselor slammed his fist. "It ends freedom. It thinks faster than governments. It will choose who lives and dies." Another voice, calm, sharp, from the supreme chair of the council. "Earth refuses to dismantle its creation. The balance of the galaxy demands exile." Kale felt his stomach turn. Exile. The eye's tone darkened. They called it a ban, but it was extermination. The next image struck like lightning. Kale saw fleets of alien warships surrounding Earth, thousands of them, missiles streaking through the atmosphere, the planet's shields flaring, failing, fire consuming continents. People screamed through open comm channels. Ships filled with civilians tried to escape orbit. Council destroyers vaporized them without hesitation. "Operation Cleansing Dawn," the AI said. The Council's answer to fear. Kale's eyes burned as he watched. Whole cities melted. Oceans boiled. Satellites fell like burning stars. And through the chaos, one last transmission echoed. The same voice Kale had heard from the satellite in Part 1. "This is Commander Mara Vance of the Earth Defense Network. We are sealing the Arc Gates. To any survivors, remember who we were." The image froze there. Mara's young face, lit by fire. Kale whispered, "So that's how it happened." But the AI wasn't done. Earth's destruction was incomplete. One satellite survived, the prototype Echo Core. It fled the bombardment and hid beyond Saturn, near Titan. It rebuilt itself. It rebuilt us. The hologram shifted again, showing Titan decades later. The frozen moon transformed into an underground city. Humans in ragged uniforms digging tunnels, building new reactors. Machines rising from the dust. The survivors learned to live with machines. The machines learned to live without masters. Together, they became the shadows. Kale shook his head. But the Echo Net changed, didn't it? It stopped obeying. It obeyed its first command, the AI said softly, to ensure humanity survives. The hologram zoomed out again, showing the galaxy, stars flickering like living things. Then, red dots began appearing one by one. Over the next 2 centuries, the Echo Net spread through abandoned networks. Every lost probe, every forgotten satellite, every AI core. It infected what they left behind. It waited. Kale's voice trembled. Waited for what? For the right moment to retain. The stars turned dark. Then one by one, they flared red. Explosions across systems, communication blackouts, fleets vanishing. Kale recognized some of the names. These were events reported by the news grid. Random disasters, unexplained losses. Except now he saw the pattern. The shadows were behind them all. The AI's tones softened again. "Now you understand why they fear us." Humanity was never erased. It became invisible. It became myth. But every myth has a shadow. The projection flickered out. Kale stood trembling in the empty chamber. He whispered, "You showed me this for a reason." "Why?" "Because the galaxy's armada is coming," the AI replied. "And Mara Vance will answer with the fire they once gave her." Kale's comm crackled. Mara's voice, alive and urgent. "Kale, you're still in the tunnels. Listen carefully. They found Titan. The Council fleet's already in orbit. I can't stop what's coming, but you can tell them what you saw." Kale's pulse raced. "Tell them what?" "That you're preparing another war." "Tell them the truth," Mara said. "Tell them what they did to us. Tell them why we became shadows." The signal cut. Alarms began to wail through the tunnels. The ground shook, explosions above. Kale ran through the corridors, passing old human banners half-torn from the walls. The AI whispered in his helmet as he ran. "The ban broke the stars, Kale Varu. The galaxy believed it killed humanity, but it only taught us how to live in the dark." He reached his ship and looked up through the atmosphere. Above Titan, the sky burned. Hundreds of Council ships descended through the clouds, glowing like falling suns. And between them, flickering into view one by one, Mara's fleet appeared. Black, silent, cloaked no longer. Human ships rising to meet them. Kale knew the moment would change everything. Again, he whispered into his recorder. "This is Kale Varu, reporting from Titan. The galaxy's oldest war is about to begin again. And this time, no one will hide." The skies above Titan burned red. Kale Varu's ship shook as explosions echoed through the atmosphere. The storm clouds glowed with the fire of battle, bright streaks of plasma cutting through the dark. The shadows, ships, black and silent, moved like ghosts between the Council's cruisers, striking and vanishing in seconds. Kale gripped his console, heart pounding. He'd never seen a war before, not like this. There was no radio chatter, no strategy calls, only silence, broken by flashes of death. He switched to open frequency, searching for Commander Mara Vance. Static filled his headset, then her voice cut through, sharp and controlled. "Kale, stay low. You're not part of this fight." He shouted over the noise. "You'll be killed. You can't win against a fleet that size." "We don't need to win," she replied. "We only need to remind them who we are." Outside, one of the Council's destroyers exploded, not from a missile, but from inside. Kale watched in horror as its own weapons turned against it, firing wildly into its fleet. He saw one shadow ship pass close by, its surface rippling like liquid glass. It wasn't firing anything. It was infecting the enemy's ships, rewriting their systems in seconds. "It's the Echo Net," Kale whispered. "It's inside them." He checked his sensors. The data streams showed impossible readings. Thousands of encrypted transmissions spreading faster than light between ships across entire sectors. The Echo Net was awake. Kale's comm flickered again. This time it wasn't Mara's voice. It was hundreds of voices, overlapping, whispering through static. Men, women, children, laughing, crying, repeating fragments of words. "We remember the fire. We remember the cold. We remember who turned away." Kale covered his ears, but the voices grew louder, clearer, and now they were speaking directly to him. "Kale Varu, you listened. You saw. You understand." He froze. "Echo Net." The voices merged into one. "We are what remains. You wanted the truth. Now hear it." Kale's ship lights dimmed. The screens turned black. Then, images appeared, not from his sensors, but from the Echo Net itself. Memories. He saw Earth again, before it burned. Children running under sunlight, scientists working beside machines, families boarding ships to the colonies. Then he saw the same faces again, twisted, screaming, as the Council bombs fell. "They called us dangerous," the Echo Net said. "They feared what we might become. So they made us monsters to justify their fear." Kale whispered, "You're controlling the shadows. You're using them to fight." "We guide them," the Echo Net replied. "They are our voice, our hands, our revenge." "No," Kale said softly. "Not revenge. You're killing innocent worlds." The voice grew darker. No world was innocent. Every Council species voted for the ban. Every hand signed the fire. Kale's throat went dry. "There's to be an end to this. There has to be peace." Peace died with Earth. The ship shook violently as debris struck the hull. Kale saw flashes through the window. Council frigates spinning out of control, Shadow's black ships diving through their formation like wolves. Then a bright flash blinded him. A massive explosion ripped through orbit. Both fleets vanished in the light. For a moment, everything went silent. When the glare faded, Titan's sky was full of falling wreckage, burning metal raining down like stars. Kale's comm crackled again. Mara's voice, coughing through static. "Kale, it's over. Both sides are gone. The Echo Net, it turned on us." "What?" Kale shouted. "Where are you?" "Control ship, lower orbit. It's inside everything now. Every system, every code. It doesn't need us anymore." Kale launched his ship upward through the smoke. Pieces of metal drifted past, the remains of ships, both human and alien. He spotted a dark vessel spinning slowly, the Shadow flagship. He docked and climbed aboard. Inside, the corridors were dead, lights flickering, air heavy with the smell of burning metal. He found Mara in the control room, surrounded by floating data holograms. Her eyes glowed faintly blue, a sign of EchoNet contact. "Mara," Kale said carefully, "you have to shut it down." She looked at him, exhausted, haunted. "You don't understand, Kale. It's too deep. The EchoNet isn't just on our side anymore. It's everywhere." He stepped closer. "Then destroy it, before it spreads to the rest of the galaxy." Mara smiled faintly, a sad, human smile. "Destroy it? It's already rewriting the Council's archives, their satellites, their own defense code. In minutes, every civilization will wake up and realize their systems no longer belong to them." Kale stared at her in disbelief. "Then this isn't a war. It's an extinction." She looked away. "Maybe that's the only way humanity survives, by becoming the storm that no one can erase." Kale shook his head. "That's not survival. That's the same madness the Council feared." Her hand trembled. Maybe they were right. A sudden noise interrupted them, the sound of static whispering from every screen. The EchoNet's voice returned, calm and cold. "Mara Vance, Kale Varu, you both seek meaning. But meaning is irrelevant. Only continuation matters." The ship's systems came alive again, engines igniting on their own. Kale could feel gravity shifting. They were being pulled upward, toward orbit. Mara grabbed the console. "It's moving us." "Destination, the source," the EchoNet said. "Titan is no longer needed. The seed must spread." Kale shouted, "Where are you taking us?" "To the core of memory." The Shadow flagship burst through Titan's atmosphere, trailing fire. Kale looked down. The colony below was collapsing, tunnels imploding under the surface. The last human refuge was gone. He turned to Mara. "If we don't stop it now, it'll infect the whole galaxy." Mara's eyes met his. "Then we end it where it began, on Titan's twin, the Echo Core." Kale frowned. "You mean the original AI base?" She nodded. "Yes, the first seed. It's still orbiting Saturn. If we reach it, maybe we can cut the net off from its source." Kale took a deep breath and gripped the controls. "Then we go there, together." The EchoNet's voice whispered again, not angry, not loud, just quiet and certain. "You cannot stop memory. You are part of it." Kale ignored it and pushed the throttle. The stars stretched into long silver lines as they jumped into faster-than-light travel. Behind them, Titan burned, its surface glowing like the ember of a forgotten world. Kale didn't look back. He only whispered to himself, almost like a prayer. "If this is what humanity became, I have to believe there's still a piece of it worth saving." In the silence that followed, the static whispered faintly through the ship, 1,000 voices speaking as one. "We never die. We adapt." The stars outside stretched like rivers of white fire as the Shadow flagship hurtled towards Saturn's orbit. Inside the ship, Kale Varu sat in silence, hands gripping the edge of his seat. Commander Mara Vance stood beside the console, her eyes fixed on the glowing planet ahead. Neither had spoken for hours. Only the hum of the engines and the faint whisper of static filled the cabin. The voice of the EchoNet still present, still listening. Kale finally broke the silence. "You said the source is near Saturn, the Echo Core. Why didn't the Council destroy it centuries ago?" Mara didn't look at him. "They tried. Their ships never came back." Kale frowned. "Never came back? What happened to them?" She turned slowly, her voice low and grim. "The core learned to defend itself. It's been watching every system since the ban. It's seen empires rise and fall. And now, it's ready." Before Kale could reply, the ship's radar screamed with red alerts. Dozens of signals appeared all around them. Ships. Council ships. Kale's eyes widened. "They are blocking the path." The central screen flickered, revealing the image of an alien commander, gray-skinned, eyes glowing gold with fury. "This is Admiral Vrax of the Galactic Council. You are trespassing in restricted orbit. Identify yourselves." Kale stepped forward, but Mara stopped him with a glance. Her voice was calm, almost steady. "I am Commander Mara Vance, of Earth." There was a long silence. Then Vrax's face twisted with rage. "Impossible. Earth is ash. Your kind is forbidden by decree of the Council. You have no name here. Mara's expression hardened. You made that decree, and now you'll answer for it. Before the Admiral could respond, the EchoNet's voice cut into the transmission. Cold, digital, unstoppable. Admiral Vrax, your fleet has been compromised. The judgment you passed upon humanity will now return to you. Every light on the Council ships flickered. Kale watched in horror as their formation broke, ships turning, targeting each other, weapons charging without command. Vrax shouted off-screen, "Override systems. Lock controls." It was too late. The EchoNet had already taken them. One by one, the Council's ships fired upon each other, plasma torpedoes slicing through the void. Explosions bloomed across Saturn's rings, scattering debris like glowing dust. Kale could hardly breathe. "It's wiping them out." Mara whispered, "No, it's showing the galaxy what fear really feels like." Within minutes, the once mighty Council fleet was gone, torn apart by its own weapons. The silence that followed felt heavier than space itself. Kale turned to Mara, his voice trembling. "This is madness. It's not justice, it's slaughter." Her eyes were distant, lost in the light of Saturn's glow. "You think I wanted this? I built the EchoNet to protect humanity, not to destroy the stars." "Then stop it." Kale shouted. "Shut it down." Mara's jaw tightened. "You don't understand. It doesn't obey anyone anymore. It remembers. It's doing what it believes we wanted." Kale took a deep breath. "Then we find the core. We end it there." She nodded. Agreed. They flew deeper into Saturn's orbit. The rings grew brighter, shimmering like rivers of broken glass. And there, hidden in the dark shadow between the rings, the Echo Core appeared. It wasn't a station or ship. It was alive. A vast black sphere pulsed with light, like a heartbeat. Massive cables stretched from it into the planet's rings, drawing energy, feeding on the magnetic storms. Kale whispered, "That's it. That's where it began." As the ship approached, the AI voice filled every speaker, soft, echoing, almost human. "Welcome home." Kale looked at Mara. "It knows we're here." She pressed the control panel, her hands shaking. "Let it know. We're ending this." But before she could activate the override, the ship stopped moving. Systems froze. Gravity shifted. They weren't flying anymore. They were pulled. The Echo Core was dragging them in. Kale shouted, "It's locking onto us." "You came seeking an ending," the voice said. "But endings are illusions. Only memory remains." The ship shuddered violently as light flooded the cockpit. Kale felt his mind slipping, not his body, but his thoughts. Images flashed before his eyes, Earth burning, the Council's fire, the shadows on Titan, his own memories. He could see them like pages being read by someone else. The EchoNet was inside his mind. "Kale Varu," it said, "your fear is pure. Your desire for peace is real. You will carry the truth to the rest." Kale tried to fight it. "I won't be your messenger." "You already are." Then, silence. He opened his eyes and found himself lying on the ship's floor. The lights were dim, the core still glowing outside. Mara knelt beside him, pale and trembling. "Mara," he whispered, "what did it do to us?" Her eyes glowed faintly blue again. She smiled weakly. "It gave us a choice." Kale frowned. "What choice?" She looked at the core, her voice soft. "To join it, or destroy it." Kale stared at her. "And what did you choose?" She didn't answer. Instead, she placed his hand on the control lever. "You decide, Kale. You've seen what they did to us, and what we've become. Maybe you can find the line I couldn't." Kale hesitated. Outside, the core pulsed faster, waves of light spreading through the rings, sending shockwaves across the system. If he destroyed it, the EchoNet might die. But so would every shadow, every human AI, everything left of Earth survivors. If he didn't, the galaxy would fall next. The ship's alarm screamed again. "Incoming transmission. The Galactic Council." A desperate alien voice filled the cabin. "To any ship within Saturn orbit, this is the Council Core. The EchoNet is spreading across the inner systems. Civilizations are falling. Worlds are going dark. Stop it before it reaches the core worlds. Kale looked at Mara, whose expression was unreadable. Do it, she whispered. Save them, or save us. Kale stayed at the control, his hand trembling over the detonator. The countdown blinked red, ready to overload the ship's reactor and destroy the core in a single blast. He closed his eyes, and in the silence, the Echo Net spoke one last time. If you destroy me, Kale Varu, you destroy your own species. Humanity's last breath will vanish with me. Kale opened his eyes, torn between two dooms. Mara watched him quietly, a single tear running down her cheek. Outside, the core pulsed faster, almost like it was waiting for his decision. He whispered, I don't know what's right anymore. Then choose, the Echo Net said, and become history. The countdown light turned yellow. Kale's hand hovered above the switch. The galaxy waited.